MPOX has now been discovered in Europe with what they suspect to be a new strain that could potentially be up to 10 times more deadly than the strain that's working its way through Africa. As you can imagine, this is leading to a lot of concerns and a lot of questions, including, are we going to be dealing with yet again another global pandemic, and is this potentially going to lead to global lockdowns? These are very good questions and valid concerns as well, so hopefully the information I have to share with you here in this video will give you more details and where we currently sit as of right now, as this is definitely getting the attention of a lot of people out there, including the WHO, World Health Organization, and a lot of other top officials. Let's jump into the details. All right, so as you can see right here, this is being put onto the list of 37 total diseases that are out there classified by the WHO that they have an alert on that they are watching very, very closely, including the Black Death Plague that's been around for thousands of years. I mean, seriously, is that not like the worst of all the diseases out there, right? That's a really, really bad one. But this is certainly something that's catching a lot of attention, and just recently over the last couple of weeks here, and especially over the last few months here, we've seen this whole MPOX situation really expanding rapidly in the DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is obviously in Africa, and we've been seeing lots of cases really spreading over there. Well, now as of just a couple days ago, we've seen this now spread into Europe. So Sweden has now officially confirmed a case of this new strain here, and some officials there, as you can see, are also determining that this could potentially be up to 10 times more deadly than the strain that is working its way through Africa. So I'm not sure about you, but does that catch your attention a little bit, right? I mean, here's the thing. This is kind of like exactly how we saw a COVID situation play out as well. When we saw this thing, we saw this happening in China, and we're like, oh yeah, it's in China. We're not have to worry here. We're in the United States. We're good. And then it wasn't long before it was in Europe, and then all of a sudden, shortly thereafter, it's like, uh-oh, here we are. It's in the United States now, right? And then it just kind of went from there. It really did not take that long. A few months from the first time we heard about it until we were dealing with a lot of different situations here in the United States. So this is a valid concern. Now, there are concerns from a lot of top researchers and doctors and things like that, which, by the way, full disclaimer, I think many of you here know this, but I am definitely not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, so I don't want to pretend like I am. I'm not going to pretend that. And just want to throw that out there really quickly so that there's no confusion. Definitely not a doctor, okay? Just want to point that out really fast. But anyway, so I did a bunch of research on this because, a lot of people have been reaching out. I've been seeing some concerns about this, people wanting me to talk about this, and want to share with you these articles here as well. Okay, so now here's the thing. I've been reading a bunch about this, and the COVID situation that we dealt with, it was highly transmissible, right? So in other words, you walk into a room, somebody's infected, they start coughing, it becomes airborne, and before you know it, a bunch of people are infected as well, right? I mean, that's kind of generally how it worked with COVID. Maybe not that aggressive, but you kind of get the point there, right? Now, the situation with MPOX, which, by the way, MPOX, previously known as Monkeypox, same thing. They just kind of changed the name recently, but it's MPOX. That's what we're referring to here. It's not as highly transmissible, according to what I'm reading on this, okay? According to what I'm reading, they're saying, yes, it is still transmissible. It does transmit relatively easily, but it's not nearly as simple as just walking into a room, a couple people cough, it becomes airborne, and boom, we breathe it in, and now we're infected, right? But they said most people will just experience flu-like symptoms. So according to what I've been reading, they say like it's kind of flu-like symptoms. It could be more mild that in some people, and it could be way more severe than that in some people as well. They're also suggesting that it's usually followed by lesions, like 5 lesions or so, give or take a little bit. And they're like, I'm going to say it, pus-filled lesions. Sounds super gross, but that's what they're saying, okay? Based on what I'm reading about this. In case you wanted to know, that sure probably gives you a pretty good image of what you're looking for here, right? So as of right now, this is not anything we need to be concerned about right now in the United States. However, the more I was reading about this, they're basically saying is that once it gets to the European countries, it's probably only a matter of time until it gets here in the United States as well. So as of right now, nothing as far as this other strain here that's been showing up, or that did show up in Sweden, sounds like right now it's probably nothing to be concerned about here in the United States. But like I said, according to what I'm reading, it's only a matter of time as far as what they're saying on this, okay? Now next, really quickly, let's talk about the whole situation of lockdowns. Again, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with lockdowns, but let's just think of it logically for a second. So what happened back in 2020 when the whole thing was locked down? Why did they do that? Because they didn't really know. Nobody really knew anything according to what was happening at the time. This was a brand new thing, right? So like the whole COVID situation, nobody really knew anything about it. They didn't know a lot of details. So they basically said, hey, we got to figure this thing out, right? We don't know anything about it. Let's do a bunch of research first, and let's just tell everybody to stay home and watch movies and wear your pajamas all day, and we'll kind of figure this thing out. So then they kind of figured it out. And then, we all know what happens then, okay? But my point is, that's kind of the whole situation there. The situation here with MPOX is that they understand it. They kind of have an idea. I mean, it's been around for a while here, so they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And according to what I was reading on this as well, it sounds like there is a vaccine for it. Just saying, okay? I'm not saying like you should run and grab it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just simply saying it sounds like there is. So like it sounds like there may be a remedy for this thing already based on what I've been reading about it. And they have a pretty good idea of what they're working with here versus the COVID situation. They didn't really know. They're just like, we have this thing. We're not really sure what's causing it. We don't really know anything about it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a different situation, going into it completely blind, having no idea with COVID. And now they know, very clearly kind of the details of this MPOX situation, right? So that's kind of makes sense. So going into a whole lockdown situation, I don't know about that. I think we'd have to see a very, very, very extreme situation to see any type of lockdowns. I would not bank on that. So if you're somebody rooting for a lockdown, I would not bank on that. And I would say this much as well. If we happen to go through another lockdown situation, I would have to anticipate it's going to be really bad. I mean, if we have to be locked down again, I think they learned, a handful of years ago that the whole lockdown thing it didn't turn out so well. Let's just say that much, right? I think it was an interesting situation. Let's just say that. Again, I know it's highly controversial. I'm not going to sit here and say it's good or bad. I'm going to say this much. I don't know. It's kind of fun hanging out at home for a while, right? You know what I mean? It honestly was just kind of a nice little reprieve for a while. I don't know. For a little while, I don't know. It just seemed like it wasn't really the worst thing in the world, right? I mean, it was actually kind of nice for a little while. But then, it got a little bit old. But you get the point. So anyway, if that's the situation you're looking for, I don't really know about that. But hopefully these articles and the screenshots and things like that have been popping up here on the screen for you. Obviously, hopefully you've been reading a little bit of those. It's kind of a lot of information. But remember, last week, I brought this to your attention last week as well. The WHO did declare a public health emergency declaration on the international level. So, I mean, if that is a little bit of cause concern, then there you go. I mean, yeah, obviously that's a little bit of a concern. If the WHO is coming out and issuing a declaration, an emergency declaration on an international level, it's probably maybe a little bit more concerning than, maybe what we're giving it credit for. Does that kind of make sense? So anyway, just something we certainly want to pay attention to. I've seen a few questions, not a ton, in the comment sections, reaching out saying, hey, you want to talk about this? You want to give us some information about this? Things like that. This is just what we know as of now. Obviously, we'll need to continue watching this. Let's see what happens with the case in Sweden. There was also a case found in Pakistan as well. And we'll have to see, right? That's kind of what it is, though. It's just literally kind of a wait-and-see type of situation because we really don't know. There's not a whole lot we can do about it as of right now other than just literally just kind of watch the clock here and just see what happens as this whole thing unfolds, right? So anyway, for those of you that are asking, I hope that helps you a little bit. Again, there's a ton of information in those articles there, as you could see. Just want to bring it to your attention. Hopefully you just kind of had a chance to read through those kind of as I was talking through some of the details of that, but hope that helps you. Either way, kind of makes sense? Either way, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I will continue to watch this and keep you posted with anything going on about this. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel, the thousands in the video library, the ones I've hand-selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section, and check out the other videos. Thanks again. Share the video, like the video, and have a nice day. Take care. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you again later.